In the morning of February 16, 2020, a 39-year-old woman named Faye stepped out of a convenience store in a small village in China. She was wearing a bright red distinctive coat, and in her hands were a whole bunch of snacks that she had just purchased. Faye had lived in this village her whole life. This day had started exactly the same as every other day when suddenly she hears people calling out to her. There were these 5 people that are clustered together, standing at the top of this trail. Hayes Village was home to a beautiful hiking trail, and that area was called the 18 Ponds of the Dragon King. Faye, when she was younger, she had this tumor, and in order to get rid of it, she had to take all this medication. It sort of instilled in her this mentality that she was frail and delicate, and it also made her very isolated and lonely. These 5 villagers over at the trailhead, and they're clearly getting ready to go hike up. And so Faye found herself just saying, you know what the heck, yeah. They begin hiking up this trail. They make their way into this forest. They reach one of these ponds, and they basically have a picnic right on the shore. She started to feel really intensely fatigued, and she put her head down, closed her eyes, and she fell asleep. When Faye woke up again, it was dark. Also, her 5 friends were gone. Her mind starts telling her, oh my gosh, this whole thing was a crap, and stands up and she starts stumbling her way, and she's trying to stay on this trail. Finally, she comes to the stream. She scoops some water into her mouth, and right as the sun comes up across the mountainside, she realizes she can actually see a path down the side of the mountain. Down the mountain she went, and she saw there was a big group of people, presumably villagers, out looking for her. And she gets closer. The looks on all these people's faces were of shock. Faye saw her sister in the crowd, and she waved to her sister and said, hey, I'm okay. And Faye's sister says to Faye, where have you been? And Faye kind of steps back from her and says, oh, yesterday, or I kind of lost track of time. I saw these 5 people, and we kind of made our way into the mountains. I fell asleep, and here I am. I'm so sorry if I scared you. And eventually her sister kind of said, it can't be true. You've been gone for 17 days. Faye was rushed to the hospital, where doctors discovered she had lost 60 pounds. She was horribly malnourished and dehydrated. She began to hear what had happened. They knew she was up in the 7.5-mile stretch, which is this 18 Pounds of the Dragon King. Despite launching a huge search party and also firing off fireworks, not only did nobody find any trace of Faye, but Faye would also say, I never heard fireworks, I never heard any searchers. But eventually they would actually go into detail about the specifics of what she remembered about this ordeal. She would talk about those 5 people, and she remembered their names, what they looked like. Her family, they kind of looked at each other like, the 5 people you named and described, they've been dead for a long time. Faye was incredulous, and they reviewed the security footage that showed Faye walking up the trail into the 18 Ponds. There was nobody else with her. The 18 Ponds of the Dragon King is not just a beautiful hiking destination. It's also believed to be haunted. To this day, nobody knows what actually happened to Faye.